Hey, what's good, everybody? Welcome to another live session with the Hype Magazine. I'm your editor-in-chief, Jerry Doby, and today, look at this young lioness I have on the screen with me by the name of Tiara Thomas. She is an Oscar winner, a Grammy winner, singer, songwriter. She was on a 2-year hiatus, pretty much. Didn't make her own music. She's been behind the scenes and writing for everybody, their cat, uncle, and dog. Now she's back with this new joint called Don't Talk Back. It's pretty sexy. She's telling you what she's gonna do to you, and you better not say nothing, just take it. Tiara Thomas, what up, though?
I loved it. I love that intro. That was fire.
I try to make it friendly around here. I try to make it friendly.
Dope.
Yeah, look, I love the new joint. It is amazing. Congratulations on the Oscar. Congratulations on the Grammy, an Oscar. I mean, Grammys, you should have gotten more Grammys, but that Oscar is the big deal to me.
It's pretty crazy.
At my age. What are you feeling about it?
Yeah, the Grammy. So I've been saying I was going to win a Grammy since I was 12. So I manifested that.
Right.
I did not manifest the Oscar. That just came, like God just kind of threw that one in there. And it's still crazy, like just it being in my house, like walking by it. And I'm like, yo, I just have an Oscar. I don't even have a place for it. It's literally just like sitting next to my TV.
That's cool.
That's cool. So I'm gonna find a like a little like something, a cool shelf for it. But yeah, it's crazy. I'll be walking by like, damn, like I got one, Denzel got one, Leonardo DiCaprio got one.
Sidney Poitier got one.
Yeah.
So Hattie McDaniels got one. You're in that ooh-wee class.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
That's dope.
So it's cool.
Dope. I love the joint.
Thank you.
It is amazing. I like the way you use timbre and intonation to change the facets of the song and provide some different nuances and things. I'm going, man, she's a master. She's riding the hell out of this track. And the track is sophisticated as well.
Thanks for noticing that. I do that kind of stuff for music lovers like yourself, and I can tell. This is the first track I got to like co-produce and work like, on the production. And so I am very musical, but I also like have this like edgy, like raw vibe about me. But I do agree with you in the sound that it's a more sophisticated sound. And I call it Porsche music. Porsche music. Like, yeah, it just sounds like, you should be like driving a Porsche like through Malibu during a sunset. So it's like sexy and smooth and sophisticated. That's what it makes me feel like.
It was all of that. I'm like, this is a grown folks track. This youngster is riding, this young lioness is tearing it up.
Thank you.
And I had fun with it. I said, I'm gonna play this for my wife. Don't talk back.
Yeah.
I had to do something. You gave me some energy after 20 years of marriage. I'm like, yeah.
Okay, let's go. Let's go.
I love it. Look, man, everybody has their own thoughts about you, and I'm sure you've been interviewed, like I said, by everybody, their cat, uncle, and dog. But from the inside looking out, will you tell me about Tiara Thomas?
Tiara Thomas, I'm chill, I'm super chill. I think I'm authentic to myself. I don't really try to do that whole, which, probably if I did more of this, I would have more like, what do you call it? Because I have success. What do you call it? Like super popular, just like pulling the antics and stuff. Like I'm very chill. Like, right. I'm authentic. I kind of like to stick to my small circle. I'm goofy. I'm mad goofy. And I don't show that a lot online. But because I wasn't getting online that much, but my manager had convinced me to create a TikTok. So that's my newest kind of fun thing. I'm about to go make a TikTok after this, right after this. But yeah, I'm a fun girl. I'm cool. I'm chill. I'm from Indiana. Some people, when they see me, they don't know where I'm from. I mean, they think I'm from New York, or some people think I'm from LA, but when I'm in LA, and I'm, at the gas station, I'm saying, oh yeah, excuse me, sir, thank you, sir. They're like, oh, you're not from here, are you? I'm like, no, I'm from the Midwest. But
West
I'm,
manners.
yeah, it's very Midwestern, humble. And, I like to make music. I like to just like experiment and do a bunch of different shit. I'm inspired by a bunch of different things. And I think that comes out in my personality, in the way that I dress, in my music. And so, yeah, I'm just like, I'm an Indiana girl. I'm a little skinny girl from Indiana.
Went to Ball State, which is in Muncie. And
Yes. Do you know about Muncie or Ball State?
the owner of the Hype magazine is from Indianapolis, and she also went to Ball State.
Wait, what's her name?
Her name is Jamila Wilkerson. And
Jamila. What
yeah,
year?
she started this magazine in 2002. So she was in college at Ball State in 2002 when she started
Wow.
Hype. Yep.
I did not know that.
Yeah, we started there as a one-page community newsletter, and
Oh my gosh.
20 years later, here we are.
Wow, that's amazing. Do you think she knows who I am? Do you think she knows me?
Well, she doesn't know you personally, but we have discussed the fact that I was going to talk to you, and she was excited. She says, she's from Indianapolis. Tell her
Oh,
I
she
said
knows?
hello. She
Okay.
went to Ball State with me. Oh my
Yeah.
God. I like, all right, we'll tell
We
her.
probably had the same major too, since she started this. She was probably communications major, and so was I.
She was a business major.
Oh,
Actually.
business. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All
So
right.
you were a communications major.
Yeah.
Well, that's why you do so well in the music. You that pen is deadly. You learn
Yeah.
the power of words, how to put the sentence structure together. Now, since we're talking about that, and it's a little off topic, and I apologize, but
Oh,
as a communications major, you pen for doing communications, writing a paper and doing a media message or something like that, versus song structure. How do they compare, and how do you consider the words and the impact that the lines you're going to have? Maybe the same or differently?
I always felt like I wrote good papers in college. Um, I well, first let me start by saying I selected my major based off of how many math classes I didn't have to take. Because I was just like, yo, communications, they say, oh, you gotta take this one math class. All right, let me just do this and I'll find a way to like finesse myself in the music industry by working at a radio station. That was my plan.
Okay.
And so I do feel like I was really good at like my English classes and my communications classes. We had script writing classes, and I felt like I was good at writing. As far as like being descriptive and just like telling, being able to, some people not good at telling stories. They're not good at portraying, like getting their thoughts out of their head. Like they know what they're thinking, but they're not good at delivering it. Yeah, expressing it. And so I feel like I've always been like, I feel like I've gotten a lot better with that throughout the years. And I feel that way with my writing as well. As a singer, I feel like my writing has gotten a lot better, and I've been able to be more expressive and, more vulnerable. When I first came out, when I was in college, the song that people mostly knew me from was the song called Bad with Wale.
Right.
And it's so funny when I think about myself back then. I'm just like, you could just tell where Tiara Thomas was at. Like, I'm saying, like, is it bad that I never made love, but I sure know how to fuck? Like, I was in this whole like, like kind of like the sad girl, broken, the little young,
Kind of had battered wife syndrome, but not without having been the wife.
Exactly. And so I definitely think that I've been able to, as I've gotten older and more mature, that I've been able to be more vulnerable and just more expressive with the thoughts that are in my head, and being more comfortable getting thoughts in my head out. I didn't always feel super comfortable doing that as a kid, because I thought I was kind of weird and different a little bit. And like I said, I grew up in a very Christian conservative home. So, that right there is tough.
Church of God over here. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah. I don't regret it. I don't regret, by the way, being raised the way I was raised, because it kept me out of trouble. And your parents, they do like what they can do. they do what they know, and they try to instill like values in us and stuff. And so I appreciate that. I do.
Well, you turned out magnificently. I don't know you personally. I know you just from the music and the work that you've been doing and just watching. I watch a little bit on social media. You know, with all this gray hair, you know I'm not all over the place on social media, right?
I was just about to say, I'm sitting here looking at your hair while you're talking. I was just about to say, your hair is hard, yo.
You like it?
Yeah,
Thank
it's really cool because it's like curly and it's like got like, it's
you.
like, yo, that shit is tight. I love it. And it like matches your outfit. You
Yeah,
should keep that.
I had to coordinate, as Pop said. I had to coordinate today. I'm like, okay, I know I'm gonna
I
be
like
on
it.
camera. So, you know, you kind of fly yourself. I'd be watching him like, oh, she's all stylish. I can't get on here looking raggedy. You know what I mean? So
I appreciate it. I had to throw a little scarf on and put my hood on because it's one of them days on my hair. So
I got you. And I was raised with 9 sisters and a mother. I have seen it from all angles.
exactly. You know what the bonnet, stage is, walking around the house for a week looking a mess.
Real talk.
Yeah.
Real talk. Real
Okay.
talk. What was there? Was there a defining moment that made you launch into music? Did you start like as a poet and transition, or what happened?
Um, I think I've always liked when people say like, oh, how long have you been doing music? It's kind of like a hard question to answer because
Mm.
you know how you used to do like the class projects in school, and sometimes you would do a poster board, or sometimes you do like some paper mache. My presentation was always a rap.
Oh, okay.
Like, so whatever class presentation, I would always deliver mine in a rap. I would write a rap. Or,
Okay.
we would be at the lunch tables doing beats on the lunch tables with our pencils and,
Yeah.
just coming up with full songs. And that was so fun. And so that's really like the memories that I have of really getting into music and songwriting was like middle school. High school, I started to get serious about doing music. I told my dad I wanted to play guitar. At the time, I was really into, and still one of my favorite artists of all time, Lauryn Hill,
Mm.
Erykah Badu, Indie and yeah, I just loved those girls at the time, and I loved their voices, their tone. It wasn't your typical singer's voice. It was raspy and raw and just beautiful. And so yeah, I was really inspired by Indie and Lauryn Hill, and I wanted to play guitar. So my dad bought me a guitar when I was 12, and I just started teaching myself how to play. And that's what I used to do. I used to sit up in my room and teach myself to play guitar.
Wow. I see you got a couple in the background. I just started learning how to play guitar. I partnered up
Oh,
with Fender. They sent me a Stratocaster, and I'm just learning how to fret. So I was like, how many instruments do you play, by the way?
I just play guitar. I can like fake play piano. You know how people
Yeah.
can like fake play, like I can make somebody think that, if I'm sitting down, they're like, whoa, you could play like Mozart, because I just know what, the intervals and chords, whatever. But yeah, I mostly I play guitar. I used to want to drums was my initial instrument that I wanted to learn how to play.
Okay,
And
okay.
we didn't live in that big of a house at the time. So my dad was like, nah. I settled for the guitar. And
Okay.
I try to I tried to pick up drums over the pandemic, so I'm still working on that.
Okay. Sounds like fun to be. I always
Yeah.
wanted to make all that kind of noise, but my mother was a concert pianist, but
Oh.
the talent did not come to me. Did not. Mary had a little lamb on the piano, chopsticks, okay.
Uh,
No. So
that's
I
dope.
got
What's your mom's name?
Sandra Galloway. Yeah,
Sandra Galloway.
yeah,
Cool. Concert pianist. That's
yeah.
fire.
That was crazy. I grew up with all classical music and then Church of God.
Mm.
Imagine my life as a child was not what it I'll just put it that way. I'm having so much fun talking to you. I don't want to keep you on here forever. Can you tell me what's the most satisfying for you, aside from having written such great music for others? What's the most satisfying for you about stepping back center stage for Tiara Thomas?
The most satisfying. It's just like getting back to Tiara Thomas, the artist, you know. When I first came into the game many years ago, I mean, not like hella years ago, but it was like, 2013. And a lot of things transpired between then and now. I had a record deal, I got out of my record deal, and I kind of didn't know what I was gonna do at a certain point. And I know I went through like a depressing time a few years ago, just trying to figure out like, dang, what am I gonna do next? And like, wondering if like, am I gonna have to give up on music or like find something else to do? And everything just started coming together. And
Mhm.
so I think the most satisfying part is, like I said, just being able to get back to Tiara Thomas, the artist, because I kind of like played the back for a few years, just writing and kind of just getting my head together, and in the process still recording my own music, but just trying to wait for the right time for me to come out with my new music. So yeah, I'm just excited to get back to doing my artist thing, and I really want to tour again.
Okay.
So I'm really excited about that. I love performing. So yeah.
Are you signed up for any festivals coming up? Like Rolling Out's doing Thailand and
Not
something
yet.
else crazy.
Oh, is that next year, Thailand?
Yeah, it's
That's
next year.
crazy,
I
yo.
just did the piece on it yesterday. It was like Thailand and another country,
Wow.
um, two Asian countries. So be amazing. That would be dope.
That sounds crazy. Thailand's already on my bucket list. So
Okay.
I mean, that would be dope. I definitely, I be seeing like the festival. That's my dream. I have accolades and stuff as a songwriter, but my dream is to like perform on like the late night show.
Okay.
And which I have performed on the late night show back in the day with Wale, but as my own solo artist performing on the late night show, and performing on festivals and award shows. So I definitely hope that I get on those festivals, because that stuff seems like a lot of fun. I definitely like going to festivals. So
I like going. I don't like covering them. When I used to have to go out and carry a camera, I didn't want
oh,
to do that.
I feel it.
I'm too old to be
It's
elbowing
a
people
lot.
in the pit. Yeah,
Yeah.
just
And
let me chill
you
in
got
the
to,
back.
yeah, I feel it.
I don't do it anymore. I send the youngsters out. Thank God.
Okay,
Um,
okay.
but I people talk about you, and then you know, as a songwriter, and I can't wait until we're just like all over you as a singer and a performer. I want to say, I watched her rock, you know, Madison Square Garden, 70,000 people, and turn it
Man,
out as a headliner. This young lioness has earned her way.
that's a dream.
It's a dream for me. I just want to go to Madison Square Garden. If you're there performing, so much the better for me.
When I perform at Madison Square Garden, I'll make sure you get tickets. But you know what an interesting spot to be in is an artist that has not like I'm an artist that um I'm still trying to establish myself as an artist. I haven't put out a debut album yet. And but at the same time I have an Oscar. And so it's like some people may think like, oh, like, yeah, you're really successful. And yeah, I have had a lot of success, but my dream is really to do my artist thing, like I said, perform, tour, and just like put out music, share my music with the world.
Can we unpack that for a second and just like having those high accolades, you know, would tend to intimidate most people in the industry when they come to talk to you.
Hmm.
Um, how how has it bettered your life, or how has it hindered your forward motion as an artist having those accolades?
Well, I don't think it's hindered me. I don't think it's hindered me. Well, okay, here's what I can say. So the song that we won the Oscar for, the Judas Fight for You, the Judas and the Black Messiah song.
Like, yes.
Yeah. So that is the type of I write a lot of different types of songs. Like when I go in with different artists, I write pop songs, dance songs, like the most ratchetest songs you ever heard,
Yeah.
healing songs, just any kind of song. And so when people hear Tiara Thomas and they see like the song I won the Oscar for, and then they hear what kind of music I make, you know, it's not a I be cursing a lot. I curse a lot. I be saying a
Okay.
lot of, kind of crazy shit. I have a song called Retro Ones where, it's definitely not fight for you. And so I think sometimes, yeah, people maybe get the Tiara Thomas, the songwriter, and Tiara Thomas, the artist, confused, because when I'm a songwriter, I want to do what the other artist wants to do.
Okay.
I'll bring my vibes, my own personal touches, but I want to know what kind of music the artist wants to work on. And so a lot of the time I will adapt to what they want to do. And so it is interesting, if you've never heard my music before, and like you see that I have an Oscar and you saw what song I won an Oscar for, and then like you listen to my music, you like, oh, I be turning up. So
Okay. Okay.
yeah, if that answered.
It did. I would like to know if, with all the sounds and songs that you've heard and helped to create even, are you still able to vibe out to music as a consumer, or do you find yourself always analyzing what you're hearing?
You know what? I am not a music snob.
Okay.
There are people in the industry that I think are music snobs. I am able to, I can hear everything in a song. I can listen to a song 2 times and I know exactly what the 808's doing. I know what everything's doing in the song. So I do analyze songs, but I analyze everything. Like that's how my brain is. Like my brain's gonna break everything down. So, but as far as songs, I'm a consumer. I like to discover artists. I like to make playlists. When I'm listening to Spotify or whatever, and a song comes on and I like the song, I'll go look and be like, oh, who's that artist? And if I like the song, I'll add it to, my playlist. And I'm not a snob. Like I like all different types of music. I know some people say like, oh, I hate this mumble rap or, whatever. I mean, some of it sucks, but some of it I like. Some
Mhm.
of it's not like every type of song is not meant to like change your life. You know what I'm saying? Some stuff like these guys, some of these dudes like be some like young dudes from whatever, they really came from nothing, and they got money, and now they talking about stuff that just make you feel good when you're getting dressed or when you're going to the club, or it's got a nice beat. So I like listening to all kind of stuff. I respect a lot of different artists that do a lot of different type of music, that are not scared to, put themselves out there, because that's a lot to put yourself out there to the world and let people critique your art.
Yeah.
So once I think was in that position myself, I think before I got into the music industry, I probably was quick to say like, oh, this and that, oh, this sucks, blah, 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 blah. But when you become an artist, you realize like these artists, they put a lot of effort. I mean, some of them don't. Some of them go, make a song in 10 minutes, but a lot of these artists, they put a lot of work into their songs. And I just try to listen to it how I'm like, this person, this artist, they were trying to deliver a message. And whatever that message may be, might not change your life, but it might make you feel good, or might make you feel bossy, or might make you feel sexy, or might make you, want to fight somebody, or might, you know.
Yeah.
So I appreciate it.
I had those thug playlists. I do. I came from that era. I'm from.
You said what playlist?
I have thug playlists, and
Okay, okay.
yeah, I got a C Murder song that I just play on repeat, 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 and yeah, I have my moments. But don't talk back. The newest single, um, amazing way to come back into the fray, so to speak. It took you what, like a year to make this joint? I think I was told that you had been, working on it for about a year before you decided to put it out, or
This song in particular?
yes.
Oh no, we did the song in a day, but yeah, I've had the song for a year.
Okay.
Yeah, I've had the song for a year. And you know what? I'm gonna be straight up. What inspired me to drop this song was, I thought it was a little bit I think it's different than what people expect from me. So I already knew that when I made the song.
Okay.
But then Beyonce came out on her vibes, and Drake came out on his vibes. And I'm like, okay, I'm coming out with my vibes then. Cause I see like it kind of confirmed for me. Cause I was just kind of holding on to songs because I'm like, dang, these are so different. I don't want to throw people off by dropping something that they're like, oh, this wasn't, we were expecting like a slow R&B song. And so when I heard like, you know, Beyonce and Drake on the dance shit, I was like, oh shoot, I got my dance stuff too. So
okay.
that's what made me end. But I already knew Don't Talk Back was fire. I already knew that. I've been listening to that song. I've heard it literally probably like 2,000 times. I be blasting that shit every day for like a year. So I already knew.
Yeah. I can't hook that old system up to digital sources. Otherwise, I would be killing it. I'll be tearing my house apart. Oh, you see him back there? I ain't playing.
Oh, that'd be fire.
I ain't
That'd be
playing it.
fire.
Yeah. But anyway, I know that you've been covered, you know, by a lot of media outlets, and you've had conversations with different journalists on different levels for whatever reason. Is there a question we as journalists have neglected to ask you that maybe you want to answer, something that you always wanted to dive into that we never seem to reach out on?
No. I mean, not that I can think of. Not that I can think of. I mean, I'm open to, not that I can think of at this particular time. I've been asked a lot of different kind of questions. So
Okay. I know that, you know, sometimes we just tend to go whatever is in the bio, and maybe we miss something that, you know, I would like to know the why. Why do you make music? Why is it important to you?
so I make music because, well, I have the gift of making music, and I want to use my gifts, but also um there's like albums that I can remember and songs that like made me feel good or gave me a nostalgic feeling, or just like, you know, like when you hear a really good song and it like you can feel it in your body, it just like puts you in a good mood. And I'm just like, wow, that's crazy that music can do that. Like music is like love. Music is like a smile. It's very universal. You know, anybody can do it. Anybody can, even if you don't understand the words, you understand the beat and how it makes you feel. And so I wanted to be able to contribute to the music world by sharing my stories and sharing my vibes. I think there's girls out there in the world who are not necessarily, you know, you not thick with you know, with like, you know, weave down your back, you know, Black girls, you know, you could just be like a skinny Black girl like me from the middle of America, and, you know, kind of nerdy a little bit, kind of weird, like, you know. And so I just like to, it's kind of like, you know, girl next door, but like bad, like edgier, not really girl next door, but like, you know, kind of edgy, kind of like for the, you know, for the girls, like I said, for the girls who don't got the big booties and the, you know, can't twerk and, you know, that kind of stuff. And so I make music for um to reach, so my stories reach people. Maybe somebody can relate to my stories and the way that I relate to other people's stories. And so I just love that feeling. And I love that, like, I'd be thankful for artists that I don't even know. If I hear a song like on Spotify that I really liked, I'm like, man, good for that artist. Or like that, or there's some artist got a #1 and the song is really good, like Essence. I was really happy for Tim's and Wizkid, and I don't know them, but I'm just like, man, that was a really amazing song, and they deserve that #1. And so when music makes me feel good, and I have the gift of making music, I like to put that out into the world as well, just to be a contributor to the vibes, to the love, because I feel like music, like I said, music is love. It's like a smile. It's, you know, it's very universal, and everybody loves it.
I think that, you know, down the road, as we discuss, music historians and critics talk about people who contributed massively to the fabric of the music community, not just urban music, but music, the fabric of music. I think you'll be in that discussion, you know, the 10 years down the road, 15 years down the road. just because you bring so much. And I don't make music, but I can just listen and I go, you know, I went to school for music business just so I could talk to people about music business. Then they threw in theory and I'm going, oh, that's how a verse is made. Oh, that's how a chorus is made.
Yeah.
Really? I had to learn some things and I'm going, I really enjoy learning about the process of music. What in the process of making your music do you enjoy the most?
It's just cool to see how it all comes about. Like when you go in the studio, you have no idea what you're going to create. And then you might hear a guitar lick, a guitar loop, or you might play something on guitar, or somebody might play a dope bass line, which is what happened with Don't Talk Back. I was in the studio with the producer, Ron Gilmore, and he has this bass loop, and it's like, doom, 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 doom. And I was like, yo, Ron, I was like, you should do this. The 808 should be like, don't, 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 don't. And he just looked at me and he was like, you do it. And he literally gave me whatever little thing he had. I don't even know what this. I was like, what is this shit called? And I started playing it.
The MPC. Okay.
It was very dance. It was like very like to the floor. And he was like,
yeah.
That don't sound like it mixed. But then it just like made this crazy vibe. And so really it's just like getting in the studio and just being creative and not knowing what you're gonna come up with and then building on top of idea after idea. And then before you know it, at the end of the session, you came up with something that's like, sometimes I'll be listening to stuff, I'm like, dang, like that's me, that's cool. Or like the vocal arrangements or whatever, I'm like, wow, that's really cool. And I'd be like real mad proud of that shit. So yeah, it's just cool, just like coming with nothing.
Yeah.
Coming to the studio with nothing and walking out with, you know, something that could be a massive hit.
You know, I have watched that happen. I'm relating. I'm like, we've been in the studio with some friends, I don't name drop, but we were sitting there playing dominoes and somebody cracked a joke and somebody said something else. And then they forgot about the domino game and the hook started coming. 15 minutes later, I was the only one at the domino table. They were in the booth. I'm like,
that's how it goes.
Wow.
Yep.
And, 3 months later, I was out on the road. I used to do street team work. And so I was out on the road nationally pumping this music. And I'm going, man, I know how this started. It was crazy to be at the concerts and watching them perform. And I'm going, we were playing dominoes.
Yes,
when this happened.
Yes, I absolutely relate to that feeling of being there for a process. Even like, when I was writing all these songs with her for her album, and then I went on tour with her for like a month earlier this year, and she was performing with Coldplay at, is it called stadiums or arenas where it's the football? Is that a stadium. Or
usually stadium? Yeah.
Yeah, so she was performing at stadiums and it was just like packed out, and she was doing these songs that we made when we were in the studio. It was just us two in the studio, and like we were like I can remember like laying down on the couch and just like, oh yeah, what about this lyric, and just like casually writing a song, and then now it's being performed in front of thousands and thousands of people. So it is crazy to create a song and then see where it travels in the world. See how it makes its way around the world, and people in different countries hearing your music, and it's just like that's just really cool, just seeing how your songs travel and how people gravitate to them.
Yeah. It takes a lot of intestinal fortitude to begin this journey that you've been on and step out, especially, well, you said you're rapping your reports and things like that. That was dope. But it takes a lot of intestinal fortitude to step out on the big stage and say, this is my career. This is like air for me. This is my breath. And what was that moment? Do you remember that moment when you made that determination, like, yep, this is it?
I can remember when I was in college, because I met Wale when I was on spring break when I was going to Ball State.
Okay.
And I can't remember how long it was after I met him, maybe a year after. And it was crazy because he was like, yo, I used to fly out like on the weekends sometimes. I would be writing papers in my hotel room. But I used to fly out on the weekend sometime to go to the studio or to go do a show open for him or something. I remember he had me come open for him at Highline Ballroom in New York. And J. Cole was opening for him. And J. Cole was like not known. He was like, J. Cole, I think he popped like 6 months later.
Okay.
And he was known, he was signed to Jay-Z, but he still wasn't like popping yet. And so yeah, J. Cole was there. And I remember I opened for Wale that night, and I actually sang Bad. And that song was not even out yet. That was just my song that I wrote in college. So I sang Bad, and just the energy from the crowd and perform. I was like, wow, I can't believe I'm performing in New York at this kind of historical performance hall, Highline Ballroom. And wow, damn, then I gotta get on the plane and go back to class the next, tomorrow. But that's what I knew. Yeah, that's when I knew. I was like, man, I love this. But I've been performing, honestly. I was in show choir. I was a big show choir nerd in high school. Not really a nerd. I wasn't a nerd, but I was in show choir. And yeah, that shit was mad fun. That was like the highlight of my college career.
Okay. All right. I have to respect your time, and thank you so much for the patience you've had with me.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. You had good questions.
Thank you. If I have time, could I ask you 2 more questions?
Sure.
One, what was your go-to struggle meal in college?
Okay, I'm gonna keep it real because I did not struggle in college.
Okay, that's dope.
And I did not struggle because I'm the baby of my family.
Okay.
And so, I think my family already think I'm a little bit slower than all the other siblings. So and a little bit, they did at the time think I was like a little bit less irresponsible. So I had my dad's credit card when I went to college.
Okay.
And then on top of that, somebody that I knew hit me up, and they said they were looking for models for an American Eagle campaign. And I ended up doing modeling for American Eagle, and I was like on billboards and stuff for American Eagle when I was in college. Okay. So I mean, I was getting paid like $6,000, but like that's a lot for a college kid,
Yes.
like, you get paid $6,000. I'm like, woo, I'm lit. So, yeah, that was cool. So I did not struggle in college. Like I lived good in college, but I did eat ramen, but it wasn't for struggle. I eat ramen still. I ate it this week. It's not a struggle. It's just good to me.
Okay.
So
okay. I got
yeah.
it. And lastly, I would like to know, what has been your funniest WTF moment thus far in your career, without putting anybody on blast, just maybe a situation that just had you rolling?
This situation didn't have me rolling, but it was a WTF moment.
Okay.
I wasn't rolling at all. I didn't laugh at all because I was thinking like, what the fuck? But am I allowed to say that?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're adults. This is adult podcast.
Yeah, I ain't gonna throw nobody under the bus, but man, I be thinking about this sometimes too. So I was working with this artist, and she makes basically I was working with this artist, and I'm very like cool when I go into the studio. I think like I have like, good energy because, I know it's a creative space. So I always come in with good energy, and, I'm not like, no high maintenance, right, or anything. So I was in a studio. It wasn't really the type of studio I'm used to working in, but that was fine. And then it was cold in there because it was like in the middle of winter. So it was mad cold and the heat was broken. So I was in there with my coat on, bundled up. And, they usually, when I go to the studio, they usually have tea selections. Well, this studio didn't have tea selections. They just had just the Lipton. Just say Lipton on it. It's no, and they had the red Solo cup and the hot water with the Lipton in the red Solo cup. And there was a hole burning in the cup because, it's a plastic cup. So,
Right.
It wasn't great conditions in the studio, but I stayed and I thugged it out and I had a great attitude. And I wrote a song with this artist in a genre of music that I don't even write like that. And I stayed there and I wrote a song with this artist. We finished the song and she loved the song and everything. So I was like, all right, cool. I'm going to cut out. I got some other stuff to do tonight. I stayed there for 4 hours. And after I left, I guess her manager hit my manager like, hey, I just want to let you know Tiara only stayed for 4 hours. And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, only stayed for 4 hours. And like, that's the kind of stuff that be like, I don't even know if I'm supposed to be saying this stuff on the interview, but I'm just like kind of snapping right now. Cause I'm just like, that's the kind of stuff like, yo, I don't owe you, like when a writer comes in the studio and works with me, I'm grateful. Even like, if they like, I got to cut out in 3 hours. Cool. I know everybody got their lives. It's not your project. So I understand. Like, I'm just appreciative when people come through and give their time and creativity. And I didn't like that. I didn't like that she was like, yo, she only stayed for 4 hours. I'm like, yo, you got
That's
a
a long
song.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's really not a long time. Like my sessions be like 12 hours, whatever. But like like I said, I wrote a song with her, and I didn't like it. It kind of felt like she felt like entitled to like for me to just like stick around. Like, as songwriters, we don't get paid to be in the room writing with you.
Mm.
We don't get paid until the song comes out, if it comes out. Now the song did come out, it was her single, but yeah, that was a WTF moment, because I'm like, that made me want to be back on my artist vibes too, because I'm like, yo, you think I'm just like out here just like, slaving for you in the studio, or you didn't feel like you even respect my time when the 4 hours that I did spend here writing a song with you. So
Mm.
I didn't like that. But do you feel
Wow.
me on that? What you think about that?
I am 100%, 1000% with you. I
Okay.
mean, respect the time. I cannot believe, and first of all, it really irritates me that you guys don't get paid up front. You know what I mean? You got to
Yeah.
wait on the back end, but that's another conversation, because I'm really would keep you here all day. You're an amazing conversationalist, and I can understand why millions of people love you. And
Thank you.
yeah, because you have conversations in the music as well. And
Yeah,
maybe someday I'll be lucky enough and you'll spend some more time with me and we can talk on a different level. And maybe you hinted at a project coming out. So we'll get a chance to talk about that, I hope.
definitely. Definitely. We got to talk about the project when the project comes up for
All
sure.
right. Dope. All right, everybody. The Hype Magazine live sessions. Look, this young lion is we're going to be talking about for 10, 20, 30 years, long past the time that I'm ashes, and she's amazing. She makes forever music. If you just pay attention and if you really love music, you will be edified by pretty much everything that she has done. Anyone that she's written for has had, an amazing joint, and she's been recognized by the Oscars and the Grammys. Well deserved. Amazing human being. Sounds like she is, very self-aware. We're going to have another conversation. I'll bring her back. Tiara Thomas. The new joint is Don't Talk Back. It is fun. It is
Yes.
sophisticated. It is sexy. And it gives you an inkling of what she's going to serve up next. And I cannot wait. I'm here for all of it. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for having me. You're great. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you. All right, peace.
All right. I'll see you later.
Yep, yep.